Okay, let's look at arithmetic sequences. So arithmetic sequences, arithmetic sequences, geometric sequences, arithmetic series, geometric series. Okay, please don't mess up the terminology. I do all the time. But an arithmetic sequence is a series of numbers that are different by a sum. So what's happening is you have something like this. I don't know about a sum by, but they're different by a constant difference. Okay, so you're adding or subtracting. So for example, in our notes we have 2, 9, and 16. And you look at these, and this is called a arithmetic sequence. There's a common difference. And what's the common difference? In this case, it's 7 and 7. And what would the next term be? 7 more. Okay, so this is called an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so the common difference we call D. Okay, so that's the common difference here. That's D. And the first term is what we call A. So our common difference is D. That's the difference. Makes sense. And A is our first term. So we look at this here and we want to come up with a way to figure out each term. So if I had the first term here, my first term is T1 is 2, T2 is 9, T3 is 16. But another way to look at that is to say that I have 2 plus 7. And here I have 2 plus 7 plus 7, or 2 plus 2 sevens. And then if I have the fourth term, which is 23, I would have 2 plus 3 sevens. Okay, because I would have added 7, I add 7, I add 7, and I get 23. So I start here and I keep going. Now let's look at this and we'll come up with the general formula. This is A, my first term, and I add to it the value, or sorry, I add to it the difference. And how many times do I add the difference? I add to it, here I add it once. For the third term, I add it twice. For the fourth term, I add it 3 times. For the fifth term, I add it 4 times. So I do that n minus 1 times. Okay, so I add d to it n minus 1 times. So, or, let's rewrite this, Tn in an arithmetic sequence, the nth term is found by a plus n minus 1 times d. And that will be given to you. That's the formula for finding that term. So let's look at that. Let's leave it there. And let's look at some things like this. And let's try to figure out some terms. So if I have, that didn't work, try again. If I had a sequence like this from your notes, 3, 8, 13, arithmetic, I'm adding 5, I'm adding 5. Okay, so my A is 3, my difference is 5, and if I asked you, hey, what's the 35th term? Well, T35 is A, which is 3, plus 35 minus 1, which is 34, times D, which is my difference, which in this case is 5. That's 170 plus 3 is 173. Okay, so you just add them together. This times this, and add that together plus 3. You could work backwards. So for example, if I had this series here, 45, 42, 39, 45, 42, 39, let's look at this. A is 45. D is my common difference, and my common difference is minus 3. Okay, I don't know why my voice went up, but it did. If I wanted the 33rd term, I would just go T33 is equal to A, 45, sorry, plus the term 33rd term minus 1 is 32nd. Okay, so n minus 1 is 33 minus 1, 32, and times the difference, which is minus 3. 32 times minus 3 is, what is that, minus 96, plus 45 is minus 54. I might ask you this also. What term value is equal to minus 18? So I'm going here 45, 42, 39. I keep going, and eventually I'll get to the negatives. And I want to know which term, okay, is equal to minus 18. So when is that the case? Tn is equal to, oh, sorry, minus 18. So what you're going to do here is you're going to set this up like this. There's my equation. And I'm going to say minus 18 is equal to A, which is 45, plus I don't know what term number it is, right? The n is unknown. So I know that the value of the term is minus 18, but I don't know what term number it is. So I'm still looking for n. And then d is minus 3, and I'm going to solve for n. So that's, sorry, that should be a plus sign in between there. So minus 18 is equal to 45 plus n minus times minus 3, which is minus 3n, 1 times minus 3, which is plus 4. Okay, so there's a plus in there. So minus 3n plus 4, that's right. And I clean this up. That's this, 41 minus 3n, minus 3n. Bring this over here. That's minus 50. Let's go down here. That messes up. No. Sorry. That's 41 minus. No, sorry. 45 plus 4 is 49. Sorry, I subtracted. 49. Bring this over. That's minus 66. So minus 66 is equal to minus 3n. Divide each side by negative 3. I get n is equal to 22. It's the 22nd term. Okay, so set that up and solve for n. The only other thing you can really do, you can do just more questions like that. Okay, so if we look for things like, you look at question number 3 from your note there. You want to find the nth term. There's your A, there's your D, and clean things up. Okay, the only difference might be that there's a little more arithmetic to finish that up. How many terms are in this sequence? There is this question. This is a great question. So if I look on the last page of your note, let me do this. Give me a second here. Let me add a page. Come back up here. Good. It said, here's my sequence. Plus 19 or just 19. How many terms are in here? So another way to ask that is, what term number is this? Okay, so how many terms are there? You could also say to yourself, instead of saying how many terms are there, you could say, I know there's a last term. I know the value of the last term. If this is, let's say, the 20th term, then there are 20 terms total. Okay, if this is the 6th term, then there are 6 terms total. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say A is equal to minus 5. My D, each time I'm adding 2, so my D is equal to 2. And I know that the last term, or the term that I care about, is equal to 19. So I have my equation. I'll just rewrite it here because it's on the last page. So I have A plus n minus 1 times D. And that is my 19, my whatever term is equal to 19. What term number is that? So I'm find n here. I want to find n. And I say that that is minus 5 plus 2 minus 1 times D. Nope. Nope. Not at all. Minus 5 plus n minus 1 times D is 2 here. So this is a little backwards. I just did that on the last page too. But so this is 2 times n minus 1. So imagine the 2 being in the front here. So that's plus 2n, and be careful, I messed up here, minus 2. Collect these terms here, that's minus 7 plus 2n is equal to 19. Bring this across, that's 26 is equal to 2n. So I'm going to add 7 on both sides here, get rid of this, add 7. I still have 2n, that's not n. Divide by 2, 13 is equal to n. That means that the 13th term is equal to 19. It's the last term. Therefore, there are 13 terms in the whole thing. Okay, the last question we did in class, I'm going to do the same thing here. Give me a second. Add a page. Was this one. It said that the 11th term is equal to 72, and the 21st term is 142. And it doesn't give me any other information. It says, what's the value of the first term and the common difference? So I want to find A and D. Okay, I want to know the first term and I want to find the common difference. So I look at this here, and I have T11 is equal to 72. So that is, don't forget we have this, A plus n minus 1 times D is equal to Tn. And if I want to find out what, excuse me, if I want to find out what A and D are, what I do is I start off here by saying, let's go here and say that 72 is equal to the 11th term. So the only thing I have here, I don't have A, I don't have D, I do have n though, so it's a little different. So I go A plus, and I sub in 11 for n, and I clean this up, and that's going to be 10D. Okay, so that is equal to 72. And that is going to be, we're going to solve this, and we're going to look at, we have one equation, and we're going to come up with a second equation also. So this one here says that I have, from here, I'm going to say that 142 is equal to A plus 20D. Okay, so that's A plus, let me just do this, 21 minus 1D. So I'm subbing in 20 for n here, and that's equal to 142. So now I have two equations with two unknown. So I have this one, and I'm just going to rewrite this one here. and now I have this and this, and now I have equation 1 and equation 2. And what I'll do is I'll solve, remember how to solve from grade 10? You have two equations, two unknowns. You can take equation 2 and subtract from it equation 1, okay? So that'll be a subtract a, so I'll go this subtract that is 0. 20 subtract 10 is 10, d. 142 subtract 72 is 70. Divide each side by 10, and I get d is equal to 7. So once I know that, I'm going to sub d is equal to 7 into one of my equations. I'll just do into 1 to find out what a is. That's a plus 10 times 7 is equal to 72. That's a plus 70 is equal to 72. A is equal to 2. And I go back and I have a is equal to 2, d is equal to 7, and I'm all done. Now, if I want to make sure I'm right, what I can do is then I can say, is this right? Well, if that's right, I know that Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1 times d. So if I had a is equal to 2, and I'm here, I want to find out what T21 is, okay? Because I know that T21 is 142. So then that's n minus 1 is 20, and my d was 7. So this is just going to check here. That's 2 plus 140 is 142. 142 is correct for T21. So I'm going back and checking in this one here in T21. Okay, that's a little bit tricky maybe. I don't know. Look at what you have. Do I have n? Do I have a? And do I have d? Which ones do I have? And then work backwards to figure out. There's only one equation. So figure out how to use those to help you find what you don't know. Okay, take care.